Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Queenie. I am here today, excited because I get an opportunity to talk with an amazing blogger by the name of Will Johnson. He has a blog called Where Would Will Go? You guys got to go follow him on social media. He is super, super dope. So much he's doing. He's traveled. He's right here from the DMV. He's been on RVing across America. He has been boating and sailing around the coast, and now he's down on an island, down like I think maybe in the DR. Manned his own boat. I mean, he's just doing so many things. So I'm excited to have him to join us today. So next time you hear my voice, we'll be welcoming Will to the Relationship Zone, the podcast, where we talk about all things love, life, and relationships. And today, no different. Even though he is an amazing traveler and blogger, and I don't know, he's like a social media personality. We're going to try to talk to him about a little bit of everything. So join me as I welcome Mr. Will Johnson to the show. All right, we're waiting for Will to come in.
Am I in?
You are
Man.
in. Hi.
Hello.
We're-
Finally. Let's see how
Finally.
long this lasts.
Oh
See how
man,
long
we're
this
doing
lasts.
this once again. I'm excited. So because we know that the system, your internet's a little wonky, we're gonna jump right into this. You okay with that?
I'm ready to go ahead and just jump in because we just lost power 2 seconds ago.
Right. So I already told the viewers and the listeners that I was interviewing an amazing travel blogger, a journeyman, a Renaissance man, an adventurer, Mr. Will Johnson of Where Would Will Go? I mean, I've already done all that. So I want to welcome you officially again to this podcast. So welcome, Will.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for definitely sending out this warm welcome to join your podcast and speak to your big following.
Well, thank you. Hey, listen, that's a beautiful background. So where is Will at today?
Right now I'm in Cabarete. So it's near, well, it's on the, I guess that would be the west side of the island.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's beautiful out
So I'm
there.
sitting here. Yeah, it's hot. I'm doing this for you guys. It's hot.
Oh my God. I promise we're not going to keep you forever. So listen, so just a little bit of backstory for the listeners and viewers. We have tried this a couple of different times. I have a few recordings of Will and I talking. So you may get a mixed bag once this all comes together, because I don't want to hold him too long and ask a ton of the same questions over and over again. But there are a few questions that we want to know and viewers are curious about, so I figure why not. So bear with us. Will, please bear with me because I'm going to ask you a few questions that you've already answered.
Hey, it's just usually the same questions anyway, wherever I go.
Right. So listen,
I think everybody has the same curiosity about
exactly we all have the
Mhm.
same curiosity. But I want to tap into the fact that we know you to be a well-rounded man, of course, but quite the Renaissance man. So how did that all begin for you? Where did this person kind of I guess where was his genesis?
I think the main part of anybody's, I guess, story is whether or not the curiosity is a strong pulling force in their life. And I think that's probably where the inception of that is for me since I was little. I'm kind of answering that question a little bit different than we did the first time. But yeah, I think it all started from being just a very, very curious individual as a young guy. So, and I guess, of course, it blossoms as you get older and you get more curious about things. And it just grows in all the different directions. So I think it's about being curious, my inception curious, and then just being open to it.
Yeah, being able and I mean, I think it's courageous to be able to just get up and follow your curiosity and see where it leads you.
Yeah, that's I guess the whole I think that's the you know what? I think that is the what we would call that the base. Let's say the base is fear, right? I think everybody is dealing with some sort of fear. And I think that's what always comes out of a conversation when someone's doing something that's kind of off the beaten path is, you know, they face their fears or they, whatever struggles they have. And they say, you know what? Instead of just being scared, I'm going to be scared and still do it.
You'll do it. I love it. So listen, Will, so the Relationship Zone, the podcast, we talk about love, life, and all things relationships. Um, I look at your life, which seems to be very interesting and quite intriguing. And I'm going to dab into this love thing because I want to know about love. And I also want to know, like, how do you maintain or not just maintain, but how do you establish and maintain relationships being such a traveler? Because you were here in the DMV. You are a DMVer, like you are straight out of this area, and now you're there in the DR. So how do you let's start with the relationships. Like, how do you maintain them? And was it difficult disconnecting? I guess, like, from this, unplugging from this area. This is a different type of animal here. So how did you manage that?
Wait a minute, you're gonna ask like two
I
questions.
know, I know, I know. Because I started thinking, like, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, so let's just think
question you
about
want me to ask?
let's focus on relationships, right? So let's
All
focus on
right,
the
focus on
relationship.
relationship.
Yeah.
All right.
How do you manage the disconnect from this is being your home? Now you're down there. How do you manage those relationships? How do you maintain those relationships, or do you even maintain those relationships?
That's so let's talk family first. I think one of the questions that you had posted with me before was started with family and friends.
Mhm.
I think now in the age of technology, I think just like we're doing this call connected, if you will, there's nothing keeps you separated from your friends and your family because of the internet, social media, things of that nature. And as we all know, you don't need to be around somebody 24/7. We all got lives to live. So, just picking up Facebook. I mean, I think Facebook and Instagram and all these things have a bad connotation behind them, but they're really, really useful when you do want to, stretch out and be other places. You still can be well connected and not feel isolated at all.
Wow.
So that's for the family and friends. And I think honestly that goes into most relationships. I mean, as we get older, of course, I don't know, I'm 50 years old now. So by this time, at my age, most people have been through a lot of different relationships. So if you're learning yourself, then you know exactly what you want. I mean, you created some virtual list of, your love life and things of that nature. And if you hit those check marks, you know that that's what you want and y'all will make it work. I wrote something just recently because I just had a breakup recently, where, if the person exhausts the possibility, it's really the end of the relationship. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing, especially if you get up. I just say it at this age. I hate to say it, at this age, if you exhaust the possibilities, end on a good note. Celebrate your guys' differences. I mean, if it's red flags or some things you don't like about each other, just celebrate them and say, you know what? We'd probably be better off as friends, or we might be better off as not talking to each other, but it's not a negative thing. It's just we found out quickly whether this thing should go any further or not. And that's it. There's, a lot of people talk about wasted time. I mean, you could spend years with somebody and still not be wasted time. You got something out of that situation. Yeah. But to kind of end what I'm saying, as far as the distance, whether I find love here in DR or wherever I am, I think we shouldn't exhaust the possibilities. You can make anything work that you want to work. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
I love the fact that you say the exhaust the possibilities. Like, I've never looked at it that way. That is, I love that. I love that. When you've exhausted the possibilities, the relationship is done.
Exactly. If you know it, and I think this is the thing, you have to really know yourself. Get some time, take your time to really get to know what you like and dislike. And then on top of that, you got to understand that over time, you can do 20/20 looking backwards, right? Look at how you've changed over the years. Like, you're not the same person you were 2 days ago. You're not the same person that you were a year ago. Mm-hmm. You're not the same person 3 years ago. Now, imagine going forward. If you know that you changed that often, think of what this other person is doing along with you. You both are changing, right? But you got to be open open to that. You got to be saying, okay, maybe this is a hard portion, and we just go through this hard portion together, because maybe 3 months from now, we'll be looking at things differently. We may be looking at things the same, but we have to celebrate those differences, but don't exhaust the possibility. The possibility is this: look, whatever it is, we can work through it. And if not, then just go separate ways. Nobody's hurt, nobody's dead. Let me take the hurt part. Let me take the hurt part back. You're going to be hurt because you love.
Yeah, because
right?
we're gonna be in our feelings, right? We're gonna be in our feelings.
I think, yeah, but you might as well. The hurts to me is the same. I look at it like this: the hurt is the same. You know how people talk about they don't like to be alone. But that's hurt. You're like, I'm hurt, lonely with the person. That doesn't serve either one of you. So might as well just go through the hurt on your own. Get to know yourself again. Relearn yourself over again.
Yeah.
Take the time.
Wow. Look
Does
at
that
that.
answer the question?
He said a mouthful. I think,
like I said,
I love
if you
it.
exhaust the possibilities, definitely you guys end on a good note.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So
yeah, well, it comes with age.
It's all good. Yes, you're right. There's a lot that comes with age. There's a lot. So let's just go back to the DMV a little bit. Do you miss it? Do you miss living here?
No, not at all. I've been in the DMV all my life. So I didn't start really traveling really hard until I was in my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So, most of my life was in Maryland, District, and Virginia, and I've done it all. And if you've been in there long enough, by the time you go to all the different clubs, and of course they spring up, but all the same people go to all the same places, and we do all the same things. And it's just, one of those things where either, you again, celebration of my past. I loved it. I wouldn't change it for the world, but you just want to do some new things, do some different things.
Yeah. So you decided.
I never look back at it.
Yeah.
So I never look back at it. It's not a big deal.
Okay. All right. Well, then that's good. I'm sure there will be people listening. Let me say, there will be people listening that's probably feeling that, and oftentimes we don't know how to move. We don't know how to get up and go. It's difficult letting things go and that change. And, it's all scary. And it's just like, man, watching someone like you, we just vicariously live through will. Because sometimes we don't.
You know what's so funny about that though? Think about it like this. You know how when people say everything, well, I'm going to say, I've heard it said that everything that you want is usually on the other side of fear. Oh, yeah. Everything you want is usually on the other side of fear. Now, the funny part of that is, why not try and fail?
Yeah. You're right.
You know what I mean? And this woman, the DMV will still be there. You can go back. You can pick up just where you left off at. Yeah. Those people will still be there. Yeah. Everybody is still be there, and everybody probably be doing pretty much the same stuff.
Yep.
That's a thing. But you'll get back accurate, but you'll pick it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There'll still be a ton of day parties and nightlife and all white parties and political blah, blah, blah. And the housing market will still be crazy. And the traffic will still be just as bad.
And that's everywhere though. See, that's the funny thing. That's the funny thing. Everything is everywhere. So whatever you have in the DMV, you can get here probably in every country. Everybody's doing pretty much the same thing. We're just human beings.
Yeah.
There's only 36 stories ever told that you can tell a story 36 ways. That's a good thing about writing. There's only 36 ways you can tell a story. Now imagine your life is only 36 ways, right?
Wow. That's all. All right. So we'll check it out. We're gonna
keep it simple.
You're right. Look, we're gonna run on through this because one, I know that we're having some delay with our with this internet. So I want to make sure I can capture some of the good questions. Yeah. I know that you just completed not long ago an article with Travel Noir, and I think that came out like July 6th. It was an amazing article. I love that they captured a lot of things that you're doing. So I want people to go out and find that, of course. But I want to ask just a few questions that came in when some individuals knew that I was going to be interviewing you. You have answered these, and so by the time people hear this, I'll probably posted some of your answers anyway. But here you are. I want to ask it myself. What has been the hardest part of this journey with you boating or sailing from here to where you are currently?
What's the hardest part?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think it's all hard. Everything about it is hard because it's outside of my comfort zone. I mean, I didn't experience sailing, so jumping on a boat and going out on my own and meeting people and learning as I go. Yes, the consequences are very high, but I believe that like I said, on the other side of fear is something awesome, and sure enough, to this point, it's been awesome. It's been very challenging, and I think every part of it's been hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But
you say it
you get
again.
rewards, right? Look behind me. I mean, you get some rewards. You get some
Right.
rewards out of it,
There's that part. So so during your travel or to, let's say, this particular travel to DR and your journey for boating, because you haven't been like an avid boater for the last 20 years of your life, right?
I started boating in August of 2020. Yeah, everybody thinks I'm crazy. It's okay.
I won't say you're crazy. I think you're bold as F.
Even people that's been boating for 20, 30 years say, wow. Like, I mean, when I went and bought the boat and I was at the marina and I didn't know anything about the boat, and the guys was like, well, why'd you buy it? I said, I'll learn fast. It won't take long.
I love it. We have a saying at my job that we are flying the plane as we build it, or something crazy like that. And when I first went into my very first meeting taking this new position, I didn't understand it. They were like, oh yeah, we're just building the plane as we fly. And I was like, what? Trying to process that. But guess what? That is kind of what you have to do sometimes in life, is that you got to start flying and you put the wings on it as you're going. So big ups to you for doing that. And
they say it so many different ways, right?
Yeah.
They say it so many different ways, right? Because they say, jump off the cliff and you'll get your wings, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you never jump off the cliff, you may not get the wings.
You may not get your wings. You may not. You may get some different type of wings, but either way, you're gonna get some wings. So, with that being said, that's a very short journey. That's a very short window. I'm not gonna harp on that, but that's a very short window of you learning. So you had to have been curious about this whole boating thing for you to even say, I'm going to do it. But tell me, did you meet people along the way that helped you get through this? I mean, and that's how you've been able to accomplish it? Or I know you're a solo act, but I know relationships are super important.
Oh, definitely. I mean, every step of the way. And I think that's the thing that we take for granted. Once you get into something, there's a group of people that's doing it.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there's a group of people that want you to succeed.
Yes.
That's the funny part about it, right? As I think Paulo Coelho, one of my favorite authors, he said, once you get into something, you ask the universe, and the universe will conspire to help you achieve that goal. And it comes in the form of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if you believe in God or spiritual or whatever, like when you pray, where does it come from? God sends you a person.
Yes.
So if you're religious from that perspective, it doesn't matter how you see it, what your background is. When you ask for something, it usually comes in the form of a person.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. People are conduits. So yes. So now you're down in the DR. Did you have connection before you ever got there, or that's kind of, you just made connection once you got there?
So there's a sailing route that most people sail when they want to travel around the world, and DR is one of the stops. And Luperon. So I never really thought about coming to DR because DR has this bad connotation with prostitution. Like all the Black guys come here for sex. So I never really wanted to travel to DR just because of that. But as far as sailing is concerned, it's one of the stops to get you from, let's say, the Turks and Caicos. You stop in DR and then you go to Puerto Rico. So coming into Luperon, I got here just in time for the hurricanes, and I swear I never expected DR to be so amazing. If you've not been to DR, and I'm not talking about Punta Cana or Santo Domingo, those are very Americanized and and very expensive too. But if you get off the beaten path, I mean, Dominican Republic is an amazing place, and I've been to. I'm gonna say that's the other thing. So funny. I've been to about 11 small towns so far.
Yeah.
So I've traveled at least I'm gonna say 5,000 miles.
Wow. Okay. So how do you travel?
In the island.
And on the island, right? That's zigzagging. So how do you travel? I mean, you know, I know you sailed there, so you had to dock your boat. So now, how do you actually travel?
So basically, you get to know people, and then I found out that a motorcycle is only like $1,200. So I bought a motorcycle, and then you can sell it back. They'll buy it back. Like everybody buys stuff back, so you'll probably get half the money back, which is great.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. I mean, I love this. All right, so I'm gonna go on with the rest of the questions. So this is a question: will he return home or continue living on a boat? You can answer that any way that you choose. I know that you don't officially actually live on a boat, but
I do. I do live on a boat.
Okay, so then you do live on a boat. Okay, so will you return home or will you continue to live on a boat?
That I don't know. So the journey is basically, I didn't know I was gonna get this far. So let's start there, right? So now that I've made it this far, I'm gonna keep going as far as I can. And the only thing that'll make me return home is money. Money is like if I can still make money over the internet, then I'll keep doing it through donations. Folks been sending donations for my writing and the videos, so that helps out a lot with the little things and also gas and stuff. But I think money is really the deciding factor of where I actually stay. In the DMV, I'm comfortable. I got a lot of connections there, so if I ever come home, it's easy for me to either get a home improvement job or get an IT job. But if I can find a way to sustain, I don't think I'll ever come home, honestly.
Wow.
Maybe home to visit friends. Then that'll be a vacation spot.
Yeah. Imagine that. DMV is the vacation now. Isn't that something?
Right.
All right. So with that, there was a question that came up about the type of work that you do, right? How can you afford to do this? I think it's fair if we kind of tap into that really quick, just because, we're talking about money.
I think the easiest part to say is I really can't afford to do this, but you got to jump out on fear. That's the jumping off the cliff, right?
Yeah.
So you do some small, like I work in IT, so I make pretty good, or we're making pretty good money via IT. But what I do is I try not to spend all that money, and I think that's something that it's one of those things I don't regret. But you've been taught that from very young, right? Don't spend all your money. Put half your money away or whatever, right? Not to say that that's going to work, because any emergency can wipe you out, especially in the U.S. But what you'll find is you can live on a lot less, and that's what I found out when I did the RV across. Found out that you can have $1 million RV, or you can have $1.
Yeah.
But RVs are going to pay. So what more beneficial play? It just depends on how you want to live, and it's it's up to you. Like you can do 5-star, you can do 1-star. So in order to afford what I'm doing right now, specifically, didn't spend a lot of money. I bought a boat that was only $12,000, and there spent a lot of money. I mean, I could do a whole spreadsheet for you guys, and you could see that it's very affordable.
Yeah.
If you want to do it.
Well,
there's no guarantees that you can. Oh,
There-
you
There's
broke up.
there's a delay, Will. I'm sorry.
No worries.
So you said there's no guarantees. What now? Finish that part.
There's no guarantees about anything. You can save up all your money and get wiped out by some kind of emergency,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or you could die from COVID.
Or
That's
that.
another.
There's that.
So I think it's one of those things where you're just trying to find a balance, right?
Yeah.
And then just
Yeah.
find where you can fit in.
Yeah. And now you're living the minimalist lifestyle in truth. Like you are just a minimalist, right?
Hey, yeah, that's I think what happens is just like this tiny home movement. There's people
Yeah.
that's been living in tiny homes for the longest time, but
Forever.
somebody,
Yeah.
somebody trended it, somebody
Yeah.
put a name on it and trended it,
Yeah.
and now it's some kind of hot trend. All it means is just living below your means. Just
Right.
live less than what you make.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean get rid of everything that you love. You can keep all your stuff if you want it, but minimalism is just somebody coined that to make it seem popular and trendy. All it
Mhm.
means is just spend less than what you're making. That's it.
Yeah. 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 Do you find that
So
you have
I mean,
more?
you can get, we can get, it's a whole different it's all right.
Yeah.
People say DR right now that I was talking to, and he wants a Lamborghini,
Mhm.
right? But he doesn't know how he's going to be able to afford a Lamborghini.
Mhm.
And I said, well, you can get a plane ticket to Las Vegas, right? And you can get that little trial course where you drive the Lamborghini, then you own a car.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now that would only cost some maybe $500.
Yeah.
And then he has the experience, right? Now
Yeah.
he just got the experience of driving his dream car. He made it real. You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
Instead of just
Yeah.
a thought, like, oh, I gotta wait till I get $200,000 to, or be able to get a credit for $200,000 to get a car. I can go
Mhm.
drive that car for $500. Get the experience. So
Mhm.
I think we have to make things more relative than just the cost itself.
And just the cost. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah. Of course.
like somebody may want to come to DR and stay in a 5-star hotel. You want a helicopter ride here. Okay, now that's still an experience. It just costs more. That's it.
Mhm.
It's I think
Yeah.
people say, you have more when there's that whole concept. Oh, now I have more than I'm not doing spending. I guess having a lot of money, I have more experiences. I think it's just relative. It's all relative.
Yeah.
Because what if your experience is I want to drive a Porsche? What
Mhm.
if my experience is I really want to own $1 million house?
Yeah.
It's really up to you. It's all relative.
Yeah. It's all
I think people
relative.
get caught up in comparison, and that's where we go wrong.
Mhm.
Yeah, when you start comparing yourself, that's when you go wrong.
Mhm.
Just find out what you want. Go find out what it is. Do it. You might see that you don't want it, but don't shame somebody else because they want it. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Well, our area is a bit pretentious, so
Because some people love $1 million habits.
yes, they do. They do.
Yeah,
Even
but
if
it's
they
only
can't
because you're
truly
sitting
afford
in it.
them.
Yeah, yeah.
Even
Because
when
you're
they.
sitting in a situation where you're constantly comparing yourself.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I personally like to separate myself from that,
You're
and I
constantly
just sit
comparing
back and
yourself.
watch it.
Now,
Yeah.
what happens is, yeah, but I mean, it's easy and there's nothing wrong until you find out that it's not right.
Mhm.
That's when people start to wake up. All of a sudden, oh my God, I hate people that's pretentious, crazy. But then I just said, forget it. It's not them. It's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's me that doesn't want that. They love
Yeah.
it, right?
Exactly.
Why am I complaining about what they love? I need
Mhm.
to go do what I love, and that's it.
Yes.
Don't worry about it. Because somebody, I mean, you could be with somebody that loves to go out to the club every day. They truly love that, like truly love it. And how can you tell them any different? Don't get mad at them because they like that. you just go find somebody that relates to what you like doing. Go do something else. Go what you love. You don't have to shame
This
somebody.
is a
It's
wisdom
this whole comparison
conversation.
thing. Yeah, it's one of those comparisons, and we all go it. Don't I can't sit on no high horse and say, like for instance, somebody asked me, what would I tell somebody to do something different? I'd be like, no, I couldn't. I had all the women, I had all the cars, I had the house, I had the money. I was doing everything the DMV offered. And I would not change that for the world because that made me who I am. You see what I'm saying? I had to go through that. My wish is for everybody to get everything they ever wanted so that they know what they don't want.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I think that's the hardest thing is because some of the things they put so far out of reach. Like you say, I want to be what's his name, Richard Branson. Like if you want to be on a level of I make millions of dollars, I got airlines, that might not be something that you're gonna obtain, but you may be able to get pieces of it. You know what I mean? You may be like go somewhere and stay in a 5-star or get yourself for a guy a tailored suit. Like that was one thing that I thought was like I needed to do as a man, get a tailored suit, right? And stay at a very expensive hotel in Vegas. And I did it. Of course, it cost a lot. And I found out that wasn't really what I wanted to do like forever, but I had to do it. I had to feel it. I had to experience it, but I did it in a way that I could afford to do it a little over top, but I got it out of my system. I was like, yeah, that's not me. That's just not me.
Yeah.
But I think that's my wish for everybody is that you get exactly, what you dream of so that you find out what you really want.
Yeah. So does this lifestyle that you're living currently, does this feel more like Will?
I'm such a what do you call it? I'm an adaptive person.
Yeah.
So yes, right now it is like I say, the DMV was amazing. DR and sailing and the culture of sailing and being immersed in all these different cultures that all the different islands that I've been to. Yes, it's one of those things that I just love experiencing different things. So that's, if I was to wrap it all up, I'm one of those people that just want to do different things throughout life. Like I take things all the way to as far as I want to take them, and then I go on to the next thing.
All right, let's take a turn. Let's talk about
love. I get fully immersed in whatever I'm doing.
Let's take a turn. Let's talk about love.
Love.
Let's talk about it. I can't skip it. It's on my list. So I know you said you just experienced a breakup. You have amazing writings.
You want to know about love?
Well, you have amazing writings where you're talking about love and relationships and just beautiful. You have beautiful stories to tell. Beautiful. I mean, a person like myself, I love reading things like that. And so I close my eyes and I'm there. Yeah, they're wonderful. So you write some stories as if you.
I'm a hopeless romantic.
I was about to say that. I was about to say you write stories like you're hopeless romantic, but I don't want to say that's what you are. But you do write stories like you are hopeless romantic. So tell me about love and this wandering spirit. So how do you manage that? Like, how do you connect the two? How do you make that work?
I don't know. How do you make anything work? I mean, love is love. Love is consistent. Love is energy that passes through. Yeah, it's an energy that's consistent everywhere, right? Okay. It's love is in. I use the idea of the tailored suit, right? Yeah. If you, I don't know if it's the same for a woman, but when you go get a tailored suit, watch the guy as he's doing it. Now, watch the tailor. Now, what you'll see is this guy is for the most part, he loves what he is doing. Yeah. Right. And I wrote something about him. I'll publish it in a few. But that's just like experience love with somebody. You have to be totally immersed into that person. But at the same time, you got to know who you are. Right. Yeah. So that invisible list that you have, you can't push that aside. Keep that in the forefront because that's going to be the thing that says, for me, the beauty of the relationship. Meaning, I know me, I'm getting to know you, and maybe this will work, and maybe it won't.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. You know what I'm saying? So my past relationship, this one I just got out of, actually, she took me to a whole nother level.
Ooh.
She brought out a side of me that was lacking, which was family. I didn't have, my family is very small. She has a very big family, and she's really active in her family life. And I thought that was so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of it was she was so caring. So she showed me another side of being almost overly caring and being in tune with other people. Like she was doing things that I just didn't do. Like you could notice somebody, like a guy that was at the marina, he was doing stuff that I didn't know he was doing. And she picked up on it and gave him like a card to, I think it was Fridays to eat or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only because he had mentioned that he liked Fridays. And
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't think of stuff like that. Like that was so cool, and it made his day. Like he just went out of his way after that, just everything he was doing. But it was like little small things that she was picking up on. I think it was because she was very creative too.
Mm-hmm.
And I love creative, as you know, I'm kind of creative. So that was another portion of it that I think when you know yourself and you see that energy in somebody
Yes.
else, it's very attractive. It's
Oh,
very, it pulls you in.
yeah.
It pulls you in very deeply, because now you see them through their work, through their art, through their, not just a person, but you kind of see what they express
Mm-hmm.
a whole different. And so for me, she definitely was someone new and exciting that I was now for. Like, and that's the other side of it, right? Because you finally put down your bag in order to see somebody else's life, in order to be immersed in somebody else's presence, right? Because sometimes you're just not ready for it. Sometimes you're not
Yeah.
ready for a good person because you
Yes.
ain't a good person yet.
Yes. Oh my God. Sometimes people aren't ready for good people. They're just not. That is so
But you have
factual.
to know, and you have to know,
Yeah.
and you have to know that you can't take a good. But that's a hard thing because it's right.
Yeah.
Because you got to you're not ready for a good person. When you meet that good person, I mean, but again, that's a whole nother subject, right? Because people always tearing people up, and I mean, I don't know, I don't know what it is, but you got to know yourself, and you got to say, well, no, I'm not ready for this good person. Let me move on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they may be hurt from it because they might not understand it, but
Mm-hmm.
you got to understand yourself, and you got to say, look,
Absolutely.
you're a beautiful person, but I'm not the person for you, because I
Yeah.
might ruin all the energy that you have,
Mm-hmm.
because somehow you got to the point where you are, and then I come in and ruin all that. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of got to know yourself. But for me, like I said, this last relationship, we exhausted the possibilities. You
Oh,
know, we made an agreement that we would talk about any red flags or anything
yeah.
that would go wrong, and a lot of it is it's hard because a lot of times we're not listening. We do a
Mm-hmm.
lot of talking, but we don't do a lot of listening. And what I mean by that is sometimes you need to repeat back what you heard the person say.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is sometimes you'll say something, like I'll say something to you,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll ask you to repeat it back to me. And you may say something totally different. And I'll be like, well,
Yeah.
that's not what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Right. So then you gotta
Yeah.
then you gotta reset, right? You can say, wait,
Mm-hmm.
all right, let me say it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, we're two totally different people.
Mm-hmm.
We have totally different perceptions. We come from different backgrounds. All that stuff
Yeah.
apart when we're communicating.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just don't get to that part, and you just say, okay, now I've said whatever it is, whatever this red flag is. Now we got to see if we have a
Yeah.
solution. And if we don't have solutions, nothing wrong with that. That just means we're different,
Yeah.
right? That means we're
Mm-hmm.
not even on the same page. We want two different things. And let's acknowledge and go about our way. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Doesn't mean nothing. It just we just want different things, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you can find a resolution to it or work through it, or what people say, compromise. And I don't believe in compromise. Either you in it or you not.
Or
That's
you're
it.
not.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And that's it. And that's it. And nobody's a bad person at the end of the day, because you can't say you wasted the time, because you loved it. You loved it. You was there,
Yeah.
you was in it, you
Yeah.
gave it all you got. And when you give it all you got and you exhausted it, there's no reason for you to be mad. No reason.
So Will, you mentioned, and you've said it a few times, like exhausting the possibilities. I think sometimes that relationships or people run into big trouble when they stay past that moment of exhaustion, because it's like, when I'm hearing you say that, that makes perfect sense, right? You just say, you know what, this is as far as we can take this, right? But sometimes people still try to stay. They try to stay, and then they're left with resentment, and they're upset. They're hating each other. I don't know why people stay after they have exhausted those possibilities.
Because they haven't set what is enough. We've never been taught what is enough.
Yeah.
Never. It's always been more, 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 more. Nobody's taught you what's enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I
And some
think
people, some people shame you into staying into relationships.
they sure will. Yeah, I was about to say that. Sometimes you become guilty, and so you feel guilty or filled with guilt, and you stay. I think in my older age, I've probably start living more like what you're saying, which is, after I've exhausted it, then it's just time for me to go.
And it's a hard thing, because you have to know yourself. What if you are an enabler? What if you know yourself as an enabler, right?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
what you just said would be a person that will stay past the possibility. But they have to know themselves. They have to know, okay, at some point I got to be like, no, this is me. It's not them, it's me.
This is me.
I'm thinking I can fix a person, right? Because that's all I've done all my life is fix people. So what's going to happen? You're going to go past and keep going and keep going and keep going until you get to a point. And in that point, you start to blame the person, because no, they're just taking what you give.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you are the enabler. You got to see, you got your responsibility in this transaction, right?
Yes.
Everybody
I
wants to make
100%
themselves
agree
the
with
other
you.
person the bad person, right? Yeah, you can't make I think you talk about narcissists a lot. The whole idea is to identify with yourself. And let me use something a little bit easier, closer to guys. Guys, this is for you guys. A lot of guys be like, she's a gold digger, right? And I just heard that recently. And I said, well, she can't take what you don't give.
Right.
How about that?
Yeah, facts.
So if you want to give her your money, but you can't get mad because she wanted it. If she asks for it, you can say no.
Yeah.
That's it. And walk away. She's not for you.
Yeah. Especially when they be presenting that, because that's the other part. They present it, and then they get mad because that's what, someone may want. Well, they may want. The one thing,
or they get caught up into the idea.
Yeah, they do. Yes. You're right. You're right.
But idea. You got to be able to pay the rent on that mansion, brother.
Well, you can't stay there.
Oh man, get yourself a nice apartment, man. It's still got a bed and AC.
That's right. That's right. You know what? I love how you think. I love how you see relationships.
It just happened recently. That's why it was so funny to me. I had to tell the guy, like, look, man, you just can't afford it.
That's all.
Because it doesn't change. I mean, think about it. It just doesn't change. We talk about the same thing. Like, after this podcast, we'll talk about this 10 years from now.
Yeah.
People don't change.
Yep. That's right. It's the same thing.
It's for you to learn that we don't change, right? It's the same questions. How can you afford to do this? You go there. Why can't you do this? It's always this. But then I had to find out for myself, because it's going to be different. Now that's the part of it. The experience and the perception of the thing will be different.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So listen, I have a couple more questions. I want to make sure I get to them all. A writer had asked if you had children and if you were married, and we all know that you're not married. So do you have children?
No children.
Okay. So a gentleman said that he wished to travel, but his wife, she's not having it. So, I mean, I mean, I don't know if you can relate to the she ain't having it, but have you had that experience before where she wasn't having it?
Well, see, this is the thing about me. I'm upfront. Like I try to be as upfront possible with who I am and what I do. Now, if you got that type of, a lot of people get married early, so I can't speak to that. Like if you get married early, then you guys are learning each other as y'all go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, but if you're like where I am, where you make some firm decisions about, look, I'm not gonna have no kids, I'm not gonna get married, say that up front. Now, if a woman decides she wants to go down that path with me, she can't get mad, and which people do. A lot of people, say, I don't know, we just don't change. You can tell somebody straight up, look, I don't want to get married, and they think somewhere down the line that you're going to change. Yes, that's a very big possibility, but don't bank on it. Don't think that you're going to change a person. Now, for your listener who said, my wife's not having it. I don't know your wife. I don't know, how you guys communicate, but I wouldn't even bring it up. Like if I'm in a relationship that my wife doesn't like to travel, then I'm in a relationship where my wife doesn't like to travel.
Yeah.
And if I like to travel, then I don't need to be in that relationship. Does that make sense? It's to me, it's cut and dry.
Because you don't do compromise.
It's a lot of cut. I think we do ourselves. Well, see, my thing is, it's either you in or you out.
Yeah.
That's it. Like I give an example. Another example. Let's say that his wife liked to go to a painting sip. The painting sip where you paint and sip wine.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I don't want to do that like that. Well, my thing is go, right? But when you go, you got to be totally immersed in the activity. You got to try your best to enjoy that activity. Now, at the end of it, you might find that you like to paint and sip, right?
Yeah.
Or you might find that you hate the fuck out of it. You hate it, but this is where like now you can say to your wife, I will never go to a paint and sip again. There's no question, right? If you want to go, you're gonna have to go with your girlfriends. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now that'll be an activity. That'll be an activity that she goes to, which also still is something that you gotta celebrate. Because now you can go to the football game with your boy. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Gotta be some separation. So for him, if he wants to travel, he needs to just tell his wife, I want to travel. You're either in the wrong relationship or you don't like to travel no more.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's cut and dry. Because a lot of people will sit there and regret, decisions. Just tell your wife, look, I love you, but you gotta, I'm a human being. I like to do things. Like you gotta give me freedom. I'll give you the same freedom. Now, if you guys have trust issues, that's a whole nother ball game.
That's a different story altogether. Yeah.
Right. Now there's because it's not about traveling anymore. It's about the trust.
Indeed. Well,
it's not that you're going to all these different places.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really trust. But it's not that other thing. It's the trust. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So exactly. Listen, I have
see, this is the thing. What if he goes traveling? I know you. Oops, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Oops. There's a break. There was break.
Yeah, it is. It's fine. Go ahead. You said, what if he goes traveling?
Go ahead. You had a question. Oh, if he goes traveling, he comes back with great stories. So you might want to travel.
Yeah. Absolutely. But there are some people that just don't want to see you happy. And I don't know if that's his situation at all. So I'm not trying to put that out there. But there are just some people that do, their own fears will, they'll spill over.
Then you definitely you're in the wrong relationship.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think sometimes we need to just realize that.
Yeah, but then you're in the wrong relationship. See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Accept that you guys are different.
Yeah.
And go your different ways. Or accept that you're gonna be in it and you ain't gonna complain.
Yes, that part. Yeah, don't complain.
You gotta accept one or the other.
Yep, just
Yeah,
deal with it. All right, so we'll listen.
exactly.
I love the fact that I'm able to catch up with you while you're out there on your journey. And again, for the listeners, we have this delay, so please bear with us. This is part of it. This is all part of the journey with Will talking to him while he's out there. So Will, can you just share like where the listeners and viewers can follow you and how we can support you on your journey?
Site, which is wherewouldwillgo.com, or you can follow me on Instagram, where would Will go, and then on Facebook, it's Will Johnson. But outside that, you'll be able to go. I think Instagram has the LinkedIn where you can go to each one of those. The YouTube is also where would Will go. I tried to keep all that consistent, not consistency, consistent. As far as supporting me, you can do it through PayPal or Cash App. I always say just donate. I'm going to actually change it up and just because most people don't know how to donate. So I was like $5 and you get a postcard or something. I got to figure out a way to, to entice people. But when you leave it open, a lot of people are like, I don't want to give $1, but $1 will go a long way. I can eat all day on $1 here in DR.
Wow. And you write amazing
But
stories.
yes,
You write
so
amazing
those
pieces.
are the
So
ways that you can follow, and those are the ways that you can on a book. Y'all give me so much grief. And then donate. You don't buy a book and then throw the book because you're mad you just spent $19.99. You get to read my stuff before you even pay. How about that? So that's buy me a drink now that you enjoyed it.
right,
If you don't enjoy it, you don't have to do anything. Think about it that way.
Well, I'll say this, Will, for the ladies. I'm just gonna tell y'all, just in case all you're doing is listening. If you follow him, I mean, he gives you some teasers with his stories. So, and I know a lot of ladies, we love good romantic stories, and Will is eye candy. I'm just gonna plug all that too. So, it's you.
Well, I appreciate that.
So it's not a
I'm
waste
still
reading
a
reading his.
50-year-old eye candy.
Yeah, he's eye candy, and he loves to tease you with these little black and white shots. So I'm not gonna spill all the tea. I'm gonna say go out there to his IG page, follow him on his website and all of the social media. And I promise you, ladies, you will not be disappointed when you're looking at him in these beautiful photos. So I'm just gonna put that on out there. That's worth $1 and more. So
Oh,
I'm sorry for pimping you, Will. I'm sorry for pimping you.
I'm blushing over here. Hey, look, that's it. That's all right. I'll be a man whore. Oh my God.
So Will, like I said, you write these beautiful pieces. So are you working on, I mean, I feel like it's kind of crazy to ask you if you're working on a book. I mean, but ultimately, do you plan to put all of these beautiful stories in a book, or do you have something brand new that you're going to present to us?
Actually, so what I've done is I've logged off from Facebook and Instagram it started as 7 days. So I was doing like this 7-day thing while I did this 7-day writing class. But now I'm probably gonna stay logged off for a little while because now I'm getting in the habit of writing every day, which is good. You just don't realize how much time between work, exploring Instagram and Facebook, you don't realize how much time you spend. It's quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
And when you cut those things out, it gives you some mental space back as well as time. Even if it's like 15 minutes, it's that when I was doing triathlons, the coach told me, when you don't feel like swimming, just go get in the pool. If you get in the pool, you'll end up swimming. So it's that one of those things. It's like when you have a minute will be the difference between you scrolling for another 30 minutes or doing something else for 30 minutes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just that 1 minute is the difference between doing one thing as opposed to doing something else. Not to say that Facebook and Instagram and all those things are bad or anything, but what I'm just saying is you can get easily distracted within just 1 minute. And to create a habit is usually just starting in one direction that you want to go. The one direction maybe you don't want to go. Like me, sometimes I don't want to write, but if I sit down and just spend 2 minutes writing just 2 word page, normally I'll spit out another 30 words, or I'll spend another hour writing. And it's funny. It's funny how the mind works.
Yeah. And you're so good at it.
Yes. So to answer your question, I'm hoping that, well, I appreciate it. So what I'm hoping is that a book will come out of it. I haven't found my why yet. I got so much stuff written, but once my why comes, the book will come easy.
Wow. Yeah, you really, I mean, you have some great pieces. So I will definitely be waiting. No pressure, but I'll be waiting. So as soon as you announce it, I'm ordering mine. So and make sure you put some pictures in there. I mean, I want like a picture book too. No.
I better do them now because I'm getting old. I can't.
Yeah.
Walking around naked at 60.
Yeah, so we need you to have a picture book. So.
All right. I'll definitely put something together.
That's not a bad idea though, for real, because you got some great pictures, and I don't know how many traveling picture books that the author is in it like throughout, and he's looking as good as you. So I'm just saying, I'm just plugging something because, hey, put it out there. I'm buying it.
Hey, look, all I need is one fan, and I got it right now. So that's enough. Since I already got a fan, that's usually all I need is just one, right?
I got you.
Thank you so much for the love. Hey, look, I'm taking all this love here.
All right. Well, so
some people need the world. I just need one, right?
Just one. That's it. I'm with you, honey. So listen, before I stop this recording, is there anything that you would like to leave with us today?
Don't travel to see new things. Travel to see things differently.
Wow.
That's my quote for the day.
I love it. I love it.
There you go.
Well, Will.
You'll find yourself. You will find yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I love that you added that you'll find yourself. There's that saying that all who wander aren't lost. And that makes me think about you when I now read it. I think, and after I've heard your story and gotten a chance to know you this way, I'm like, yeah, all who wander aren't lost.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. Well, listen, Will, I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording, and I want to thank you for joining me, but I don't want you to go anywhere. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. Don't go away. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. And like I know we've had some challenges.
Thank you.
So to the listeners, we have had our share of challenges with getting being able to actually chat with Will, but I know that you all will give us grace and you understand why. Thank you for tuning in today, and please make sure you go out there and follow Will Johnson at Where Would Will Go on all social media. If you find him on one, you'll be able to find him on everything. So you just got to get to that one, and everything is linked from there. I'll make sure that underneath this post, you'll also be able to find him. You'll be able to have the live links. You can just go and find him, and let's support him, in his curiosity, explorations, and and talk to your friends and your children about this, because I think it's hugely important to see a Black man that is out here doing the things he's doing, living his life outside of the box that we oftentimes find ourselves in. So sometimes we don't do because we don't see anyone that looks like us doing it. And so make sure you give your children the exposure. I think that's important. And for even those of us that are adults and over the age of 25 and over the age of 40, however raised our kids and whatever else going on, let's maybe, tap into our own curiosity. So thank you, Will, for inspiring us to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to the listeners. And Definitely 4 more questions. Keep the questions coming.
Yeah, and he answers them. So I love that. All right, well, don't go away yet.